The mission during the first game of the season is to win, and that's exactly what the Buckeyes did over the weekend as they beat the Indiana Hoosiers 23-3 to win the season opener.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Victory Monday, Buckeye fans. Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Buckeyes, part of Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. It is Monday, September 4th in the year 2023, and this episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. During today's episode, we will discuss why Kyle McCord is a work in progress, but he's also not the only issue with the Buckeyes offense, and we start to work on fixing the running back rotation. But first, in the first game of the year, and I don't care if you're a tennis team in high school, or if you are a professional team in the National Football League, or if you are the football team at the Ohio State University, the mission is to always win the first game of the year. Now, for some seasons, the first game of the year is you're playing Notre Dame, one of the most prestigious football programs in the entire country. Some seasons, you might open up against a Youngstown State or a Virginia Tech or a Western Kentucky, an FCS level, a G5, a Power 5, maybe not at the upper tier of the Power 5s, but you may open up with different games and different teams that require you to play some at your best, and some you can play average ball and still win the game. But the mission is always the same. No matter the sport, no matter who you're playing, the mission is to always win the game. That's exactly what went down on Saturday. The Buckeyes won the game. In the game, there were ups, there were downs, there were highlights, there were even some lowlights. But at the end of the day, the Buckeyes won the game. And yes, we're going to analyze, we're going to scrutinize, we're going to poke at and prod and try to fix things over the next few days. But the first kind of takeaway I have about this game is when the fourth quarter ended, one, there wasn't a tie. Two, the Buckeyes had the lead when there was not a tie. That is something that I take stock into and I believe is very pivotal for the rest of the season for the Buckeyes. And as the Buckeyes seek to get better and improve and offensively improve and defensively, as good as things were, they can still improve on some things as well. Winning the game is key and it is huge. Now, in this game, there are three areas, three facets of every team. You want to excel in all three of them in every game. Offense, defense, special teams. Really don't have any gripe or complaints about the special teams. Really don't have any gripes I have gripes and complaints about the offense, but I don't have any really bad things to say. Well, I do, but not going to touch on those right now. About the defense. Yes, I would want some more in some areas or maybe one or two areas, but all in all, this defense was phenomenal over the weekend. The Hoosiers played two quarterbacks. Brendan Sorsby got the start, and then Taven Jackson, the transfer from Tennessee, he was the second quarterback to play. Both of them combined 9 for 21, 82 passing yards, a completion percentage combined of 43%. Brendan Sorsby had the highest completion percentage of all of them. That's 50%. As a team, the Hoosiers rushed for 71 yards. They only had one guy rush for over 4.0 yards per carry. That was Christian Turner. He had 4.1, but the other backs, 2.2 yards a pop, 3.7 yards a pop, 1.7 yards a pop, Trent Howland had 4 yards a pop, so that's 2 over 4 yards a carry, but that's it. The Buckeyes defense, we know the D tackles are going to be good. They can be good. They were good over the weekend. The D ends, they can be good. We want a little bit more in some areas, but they play really good football. You know the linebackers. We all know the DBs. Can I also give a quick shout out to Josh Proctor? someone, myself, and even Ryan Roberts, we were on here doing our summer scouting episode and discussing Joshua Proctor and what makes him a great football player and what he brings to the table and if he'll start this year. Neither Ryan nor I were high on Proctor starting this year. Yes, we knew it was a possibility, but did not think it was going to happen based off things that we heard and witnessed and believed about Jahad Carter, who didn't play over the weekend. Yes, Malik Hartford was in the conversation as a free safety to play, but I didn't think – I thought it was between Proctor and Carter, and I thought Jahad Carter would be the starter over the weekend. In pregame warmups, I am there, and I said, wait, that's Proctor with the first-team unit warming up as a starter before the first game of the year. That was not something I thought we would see this year, but he played phenomenal ball on Saturday. I almost said Sunday. On Saturday afternoon in Bloomington, Indiana. Shout out to Joshua Proctor. But he wasn't the only Buckeye who played phenomenal defense and phenomenal over the weekend as well. Leader on the team in tackles was still Chambers with 6. Tyleik Williams was on the field with a knee brace. He was still making some noise himself. He had 5. Davison Igbinosun, good debut as being a Buckeye corner. He had 4 tackles. Sonny Styles, great job being the nickel back, the nickel corner, nickel safety, whatever terminology you want. That is Sonny Styles this season. 4 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss. The defense, though, man, the defensive unit that you know going into any game, when you have a new quarterback, and we discussed them numerous times offensively, how can you work a new quarterback in? You work him in with a good running game. We'll touch on that later in the show. You work on that with a good running game, a running game that helps the quarterback get more comfortable in the pocket, throwing the football, opens up lanes for him. But you also help a new quarterback with a defense that is playing good football. How many of you had the Buckeyes giving up 0 touchdowns to the Hoosiers in the first game of the year? We knew it was possible, but to only give up 3 points in the first game of the year, buddy, that's huge. That's amazing. And that's a great building block for this unit. We know who the guys are going to be. We know who's going to play. Now, you may say, where was CJ Hicks? Where was Jahad Carter? How did Jordan Hancock play? And Denzel Burke? We'll touch on that later on throughout the week. But this unit as a whole, phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. They did a good job of getting the ball back to the Buckeyes offense, forcing numerous punts by the Hoosiers punters, doing a phenomenal job making sure that a team in Indiana who they needed to throw the ball. The Buckeyes didn't allow them to do that because Igbinosun, Ransom, Proctor, Styles, Burke, and Hancock, all of those guys not on the field together, but when they were on the field, they did a phenomenal job of coverage with the Hoosiers receivers. The Hoosiers only had one guy with over 2 catches in the game. That was Cam Camper. He had 3 catches with 6 targets. Everybody else that caught the ball for the Hoosiers only caught 1 pass. This defense, by the numbers, was elite, was amazing, but also go back and watch the game if you have not. I talked to a few people who were in and out, watched a little bit of the game, didn't watch a lot of it. Go back and watch it, and you will see from the jump, from the first snap, this defense came to play. Jaden McKenzie got a sack. Hero Canoe got a sack. Tui Malone was making plays. Sawyer got the start, was making plays. Caden Curry out there on special teams making plays. Still Chambers, great open field tackle. Tommy Eichenberg still leading the unit. This defense, it's only one game. I'm not going to jump out and make any assumptions about what's going to happen over the next 4 to 5 games the Buckeyes play. But if this gives us a glimpse of what's to come, and if they play like this over the next few weeks, woo-wee, this team, this unit, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I hope the next time we watch the Buckeyes play, the offense is a lot of fun to watch because what we saw on Saturday, it's true. The Buckeyes, Kyle McCord's the quarterback as of now, but also this offense is literally a work in progress. We'll discuss what we saw, what we witnessed from the Buckeyes offense next here on Locked On Buckeyes. Now time for your game changer of the week, brought to you by Athletic Brewing Company. Much like my guy, Mine Williams, Athletic Brewing has completely changed the non-alcoholic beer. They make non-alcoholic beers that actually taste good. Now, Mine Williams, my game changer of the week, he didn't get all the carries. He was playing in packages that were more short yardage oriented. But when he was on the field, he was productive, and he made 2 trips to the end zone. Athletic Brewing Company has completely changed the non-alcoholic beer game. They make non-alcoholic beers that actually taste good. Their brews are great tasting and award-winning and beat out full-strength beers in global competitions. They brew over 50 styles of craft non-alcoholic beer, including IPAs, Goldens, Sours, and more. You can find Athletic Brewing Company's non-alcoholic beers at a store near you, or buy online at athleticbrewing.com. First-time customers can use code LOCKEDON to get 15% off your first order online. That's code LOCKEDON at checkout for 15% off at athleticbrewing.com. Near beer, exclusions and conditions apply. Athletic Brewing Company, fit for all times. Thanks for making Locked on Buckeyes your first listen every single day. If you missed the Locked on College Football Kickoff live show right here on the Locked on Buckeyes YouTube page, make sure you check that out this coming Friday. Every Friday right here on the YouTube page from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern on every Locked on College YouTube channel. College Football Kickoff Live will cover playoff implications, the conference rivalry games, and go in depth like only Locked On can, including insight and analysis from our stable of Locked On College hosts covering their team every day. Find Locked On College Football Kickoff Live every Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time on any Locked On College YouTube channel. You won't want to miss it. One thing I love about football is the ebbs and flows. Now, that's what I'm watching as a casual fan. I love the back and forth. I love the ebbs and flows. I love the roller coaster of a game. One thing I don't like is when I'm covering a game or I'm a fan of that team that I'm covering, is when things don't always go as expected. Did you watch Saturday's game? I understand a lot of you did not. Labor Day weekend, you have families, birthday parties, Labor Day celebrations, traditions, all that stuff. I understand. So I understand not everybody was able to watch the game. But if you did, you witnessed a team that is a work in progress on offense. Running back situation is a little bit interesting. We'll touch on that later on in the show, because as much as I thought they would help the offense, there were times that the running backs, or maybe a running back, didn't always consistently help the offense move the ball down the field. But it wasn't always that back's fault. Sometimes it was the offensive line. Now, you'll be able to look at the PFF numbers and see Carson Hinsman. I believe he was the leader in offensive line grades for Buckeyes O-linemen over the weekend. Great. Cool. You might see Josh Simmons. Kind of get back to calling him Josh. I told myself call him Jimmy, but that wasn't always the case because Ryan Day eventually changed it to Josh and said, oh, okay, well, I thought he wanted to go by Jimmy. No, he wants to go by Josh, his name. Well, why do we go to Jimmy? I don't know. I have no idea. But you might find the left side of the offensive line was a work in progress and might have the lower grades. That is true. The left side of the O-line wasn't always a problem. It just was a problem with the O-line in general. When you have 3 of your 5 offensive linemen being new starters for the team, you should expect some growing pains. You should also expect some growing pains when it comes to the quarterback and Kyle McCord. Ryan Day, off-season 8-9-month quarterback battle. Ultimately, Kyle McCord was named the week 1 starter. Ryan Day said that the plan was to play 2 quarterbacks, which happened. And I thought, hey, we would see more of Devin Brown. But Ryan Day said no, based off how the game was going, he thought it was best for Kyle McCord to stay in the game and to put Devin Brown on. So I truly wonder, are we watching a quarterback battle, or is this Ryan Day trying to prolong making an announcement about who the starting quarterback is going to be? Who knows? I don't know. But what I do know is this. There's going to be a lot of finger pointing saying Kyle McCord's a problem. There's going to be a lot of finger pointing saying Kyle McCord is the issue with the offense. That's not true. McCord is a work in progress, but you always expect a guy who is a first-time, possibly consistent starter to be a work in progress. CJ Stroud, Justin Fields, JT Barrett, Cardale Jones. If you take away those three, a phenomenal 3-game run when the other guys that he was playing on offense with had 12 games to get under their belt to play phenomenal football. When he was going into week 1 of the 2015 season as a full-time starter, what do we find? He was a work in progress. What do you find about Braxton Miller and the other Buckeyes quarterbacks? They were not Heisman candidates the first time they stepped on the field. I know that is the expectation for the end of the season. You can't expect that at the beginning of the season. But to keep it in context, Kyle McCord made some throws, a throw to Harrison Jr. at the beginning of the game, and Jr. did not get enough catches in this game. He did not get enough looks, targets. That was evident. Him or Ibuka should have got the ball. Him and Ibuka should have got the ball 5 to 8 times in this game easily. But they didn't get the ball enough. Harrison Jr. had a ball that he caught low early in the game. It was a pass to Trevion Henderson in the flat. That was a bad throw. There were a few overthrows. There were some underthrows. But what do you expect when the defense and the Hoosiers that played better than expected? The Hoosiers had some dudes on their team. You're going to find that a guy who was in his first time being a starter in a Big Ten game, I think the last game he played or started was against Akron. IU's better than Akron. I think we all know that to be the case. McCord's just going to figure out, hey, game speed is different than practice. And I don't care if you're practicing against the Buckeyes defense all offseason. Game speed is different than practice. You know, all of a sudden, let's say you're out there, you get on the sidelines, first down, second down, third down for the opposition's offense, third down, they don't get it. Oh, wait, 3 and out. I'm back on the field. So as you're trying to gather yourself from the previous drive, you're going back on the field to get back out there and play the football. You're saying, wait, I just got over here. You got to go back out there. So the ebbs and flows of a game, it's really hard to simulate. It's really hard to replicate. It's really hard to get a lot of things done there. So as much as Kyle McCord was not elite, he wasn't expected to be elite on Saturday. He was expected to play good football, make some good throws. He made some good throws. Didn't make all the good throws, but some of his throws were overthrows, underthrows. Some of them were just numerous bad reads. There was one time, looked like Carnell Tate had 3 or 4 guys around him. Looked like he had 3 at one time. When I saw the replay, looked like there was a 4th that I didn't originally see in the game. I was like, wait, why make that pass? But this is all a learning process. The offense by the numbers, Kyle McCord's numbers, if you want to look at those really quickly, 20 for 33, 239 passing yards. He did have an interception that was a throw across his body to the other side of the field. That was just a bad throw, just a really bad decision. That interception could have been avoided. 61% completion percentage. Offensively, leader in receptions, Julian Fleming had 6 with 8 targets. Kate Stover had 5 receptions with 6 targets. Ibuka had 3 catches with 4 targets. Harrison Jr. had 2 catches with 8 targets. And then Carnell Tate, Mine Williams, Chip Trainum, G. Scott Jr., and Dallin Hayden all had 1 reception apiece. This offense is literally a work in progress. It starts with the offensive line, goes back to the quarterback, goes back to fixing that running back rotation and fixing some of the play calls. Like we expect some things that went wrong on Saturday to go right to help the players on the field be exactly what they need to be. That wasn't the case. It wasn't always like we were watching Buckeye football, but the Buckeyes were on the field. The Buckeyes offense is a work in progress. Kyle McCord is a work in progress, but it's not the end of the road. The running back rotation, the running backs, they're a work in progress as a unit, but I have a way to fix the RB rotation. It's one of my easy, quick takeaways from Saturday's game. We'll go over that next here on Locked On Buckeyes. Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can be on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with an offer you don't want to miss. Once again, visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen every single day. The Buckeyes offense, I was wanting more from them. There are even times in the red zone, I think it was like 4th and 2, and I looked at my brother and I said, this is like, my brother was there with me. Well, I went to the game with my wife, my brother, and my sister-in-law. And so we had a conversation throughout the game. My brother, the end zone's right in front of us, and it was 4th and 2 on the 4th and goal on the 2-yard line. Ryan Day comes out. Shotgun set. I believe the running back was to the right of the quarterback. Comes out in 4 wide. And I said, Jeremy, I'm like daddy here. I don't understand it. You got 2 yards to go to the end zone. And what do? You come out in 4 wide and shotgun. Doesn't make no sense. I don't care about that new age football. I don't care about none of that stuff. What makes sense? Get your butt under center, get that snap, and either hand it off to the back, the running back behind you, or sneak that ball in. One of the two. Don't try to be cute. Don't try to make a sexy type play. No, make the simple play, because that's what makes sense. Didn't know that was going to happen, but something's just annoying me, and that's one of them. However, Ohio State in this game, short yardage situations, want more. But also, what do we see? We saw Chip Trayanum come in a backup role, play running back and fullback. Yes, the Buckeyes literally ran an HBISO, Madden style, NCAA football 14 style for a touchdown with Mayan Williams as the running back. TreVeyon Henderson had the start in the game. You all know, most of you know, my thoughts about number 32. Can be good. I don't know if we'll get that freshman year back from him. With the offensive line being a work in progress, and these guys being the first time that they have seen consistent playing time. Josh Simmons' first time being a starter at Ohio State. Josh Fryer been a starter before, but this is a different type of level of being a starter. Being a Buckeye now, and then also Carson Hinsman, redshirt freshman, getting a starter now this year. It's a lot of work with that offensive line. And so when we see Henderson get the ball, we're like, man, dude, is it you? No, it's not all him. Like some of the times that he's getting the ball, trying to get open, trying to find a hole and go through it, sometimes the hole's just not there. Sometimes it's on him. Sometimes it's not. But I still believe when it comes to this offense and a running back rotation, should Henderson be the full-time starter? No. I don't believe that. I didn't believe it going into the season. I don't believe it now. My vote last year, and I can't say it this year just yet. I'll get into that here in a second. But at the end of last year, I said the most productive back in the offense is Mayan Williams over TreVeyon Henderson. Now, both of them are hurt. Only one of them is fully healthy because Mayan Williams in pregame warmups didn't take me long to see this with my own eyes. I said, oh, Mayan's not healthy. I didn't really say it much to people around me. I probably should have said it a little bit more, but mine didn't look healthy. And I looked at my wife a little bit earlier when the running backs were going through their rotations in the warmups. I said, generally the running backs in a room, you go 1 through 5. You're the first. If you're the starter at running back, you're 1. If you're the backup, you're 2. If you're RB3, you're third in line, so on and so forth. 1 was TreVeyon Henderson. 2 was Chip Trayanum. 3 was Dallin Hayden. And then either Evan Pryor or Mayan Williams. I think Pryor may have been 4, Mayan Williams 5, in that order. And it just was like, wait, I thought Mayan was healthy. But then I remember during practice, a fall camp report, someone reported that Mayan Williams was a little dinged up. Didn't know what it was. I do believe it is a lower body injury at this point in time, but he is a little bit dinged up. However, being a little bit dinged up, he still played in short yardage situations. Mayan had 7 carries for 25 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was the only running back for the Buckeyes to have 2 touchdowns, to score a touchdown in the game. You had Chip Trayanum, 8 carries for 57 yards. TreVeyon Henderson for 12 carries and 47 yards. Emeka Egbuka had a jet sweep, 1 carry for 9 yards. Kyle McCord, 2 for 8. And then Devin Brown ended up getting sacked. Actually, no, it wasn't a sack. It was a quarterback designed run that didn't gain any yards. -3 yards on that play. Leader in yards per carry for the Buckeyes in this game was Chip Trayanum. He broke one for 17 yards. Trevion Henderson also broke one for 19 yards. Yards per carry for Chip Trayanum, 7.1. Henderson, 3.9. And my guy, Mayan, 3.6. I go through the numbers and to describe what we saw previously, earlier, I was going through what we saw with our own 2 eyes. Chip might need to start, man. Like, I may be nice, so I shouldn't really be doing this. Chip needs more touches. Now, if you want to start Henderson for his own mentals, and I understand that. But if Chip Trayanum gives you the best opportunity for your running game to be successful, he needs at least 12 to 15 carries a game. Literally a game. We saw he had 8 carries just from the running back position, 57 yards. Now, I mentioned earlier in the offseason, Chip Trayanum can be versatile. You can have him at H-back at the end of the line, kind of offset. Remember the old school, the way Jeremy Ruckert and Cade Stover used to line up? Or even last year, you would see Cade Stover at tight end and Mitch Rossi in an H-back position, but kind of offset outside of Cade Stover's right outside or left outside hip. That's the same thing that Chip Trayanum can do, and he can play that role, but also he can play a traditional H-back, run a little HB ISO, outside, inside, does not matter. You got to get Mayan in. Now, I hope Mayan's healthy, a little bit more healthy for game 2 against Youngstown State. Get Mayan in, get him out there. If he's only going to be short yardage, great. But if you're going to be stuck on playing Trevion Henderson, play him, start him, whatever. I don't agree with that move, but still do it. But if you're going to, you still need to find ways to get Chip Trayanum the ball, running the ball in the backfield 12 to 15 times a game. He can be that good for the Buckeyes, and he can be that Buckeyes running back. Maybe that's not an all-timer, but a guy you remember 4, 5, 6 years after he is done playing Buckeye football saying, man, he ain't no Hall of Famer. He's not in the Ring of Honor, but he was phenomenal to watch tote the rock that season. Very similar to Trey Sermon in the 2020 season. Transfer from Oklahoma. He ends up getting a lot more carries at the end of the season, and we saw how things transpired when he was comfortable in the Buckeyes offense. I think Chip Trayanum is comfortable. He just needs more touches. Out of here on a Monday, a Victory Monday. We'll be back tomorrow breaking down more things that we witnessed over the weekend. I have not gone through and re-watched the game just yet. That's something that's going to be happening literally today. And so Tuesday's pod's going to be hot, going to be fun, going to be spicy. Also looking to try to find a way to get a guest on Wednesday, not Thursday. Thursday's preview show is going to be a little bit different than normal with it being a Youngstown State game. Get more crossovers in the future, but got a little bit different feel and flavor for Thursday's episode as we preview from Buckeye standpoint the next game that they play in the 2023 college football season. Out of here on a Monday. You can follow me on Twitter. Follow me on X at jstevens07. You can send all of your emails to jstevens317 at gmail.com. Got the hiccups and a lot of stuff going on at the end of the show. Glad it came up now and not in the middle. Out of here, guys, here on a Monday. I'll see you next time.